welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, today, this week, the focus is once again back on the Congress because, since Bihar, I think that's one party that people have been focusing on. One was expecting the Congress perhaps to do a little better because during the COVID crisis, we're hearing a lot of noises. There's been some kind of a churn also, or the pretense of a churn. There was a little revolt. There was talk of a leadership change. But when it came to the elections on ground, it seems very little has really changed within the Congress. They still have the same faces. They haven't done, apart from a cosmetic makeover, I don't think they managed to do very much to respond to the crisis within the party also. But the main question really that's asking all of us is, how long will this go on? Can the Congress carry on with business as usual and just wait for the law of gravity that one day the BJP will fall and then, of course, they are there in the best position place to take the BJP's place? Or do they actually have a concrete plan? Have they learned any lessons from Bihar? Or do they feel actually there are no lessons being learned? Joining me is a panel of editors and journalists and people who know the Congress well, who've been talking to the Congress leaders and also the disgruntled. So we have a fair picture of what's happening on the ground. Let's try and analyze that on the roundtable today. Joining me is Radhika Ramaseshan. She is a consulting editor with Business Standard and a columnist. Aarti Jairash, also a columnist. Rashid Kidwai is the author of the book on Congress, 24 Akbar Road. Nirmal Pathak, he is the editor at PTI Bhasha. So, Aarti, we've been talking to a lot of people also. What is the sense that you feel? Are they disgruntled feeling that, nothing happened to the G23 revolt? I think they just made some of them walk the plank. Some of them have, are they now licking their wounds in silence? Are they still upset? Or are they going to plan another attack? Have you been hearing anything of that sort? Another letter, not an attack, sorry.
No, I think the most significant thing about the current churning that's going on in the Congress is that Chidambaram seems to have joined the ranks of, the critics. If you remember last time when the G23 wrote the letter, he desisted from signing up signing on that letter. He desisted from saying anything. He kept very quiet. But this time he also has come out, and you know how close he is to the family. You know how close he is to Rahul and Priyanka. So the very fact that even he's speaking out, I think shows the depth of the frustration and the disgruntlement that the party is going nowhere. And that, election debacle after election debacle, it does not seem to learn any lessons and does not seem to, sit down for any kind of, an introspection, any attempt to address the crisis that keeps deepening. And, I think there are two big problems, in front of the Congress today. One is that organizationally, it is completely decayed. And you can see that not just in what happened in Bihar, but the very fact that even in states where they are a force, like Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka and so on, they were unable to do well in the by-elections that were held. And the second, of course, is that it doesn't seem to have, an idea that can capture the imagination of the young voter. Like we came up with this 10 lakh jobs, but they don't seem to have an idea, that can capture the imagination. And this all stems from the fact that nobody seems to really be in charge. Nominally, Sonia Gandhi is there. And, when elections come around, Rahul Gandhi pops up. He goes and addresses rallies. He's, of course, tweeting every day. But he's not doing anything to address that deep organizational rot in the Congress and, create a machine that can fight the BJP's election machine. And I think, that is the real problem. And this frustration is there because if Chidambaram is adding his voice, to the critics, then something is, really seeping deep down inside the Congress.
About Chidambaram, Aarti, yesterday I noticed Chidambaram's, coming out in that interview. So I messaged one of the G23 and I said, looks like even Chidambaram has come out of the closet. And his response was, he's saying, I don't think anybody needs to come out anymore because the queerness is there for all to see. So clearly, there are going to be more and more such voices that are coming out. And Rashid, that comes to the crunch of the problem. How many more voices need to come out really? Because we saw what happened after the first letter. There was a reshuffle of sorts. We saw Team Rahul taking place, and now also with Ahmed Bhai being not well, there is a serious worry as to KC Venugopal, who is going to be there to when the people are worried, when they have a problem. Who do they go and talk to? There's no one really.
Yes, Priya, there is a problem. There is no doubt. I think this panel would also agree. But there are 2-3 things which are very elementary. First of all, the Congress, Parivar and Congress culture, everyone wants to, is happy to be unhappy. Nobody is looking at solutions. Nobody is looking at a problem. Nobody has a very basic answers to the questions that why nobody from the other side is coming forward and posing a challenge or to Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi as per the Congress party constitution. As you know, that Article 18 makes it very clear that 10 PCC delegates can nominate anyone to fight, Congress president's election. So if they do something in that direction or obtain signatures, etc., to force AICC session, all these tools are not being used. Second is a more fundamental issue that Aarti Jairath has raised. The issue is about, Congress unable to get its act together. My own worry is how it's going to help if tomorrow Rahul Gandhi is not a Congress president, Sonia is not Congress president, is Mukul Wasnik, Kapil Sibal or Randeep Surjewala going to solve the problem? Can they get votes? Bihar was never a Congress story. Anyway, I won't get into Bihar elections because we have done it. The key point is Chidambaram is speaking. Why is Chidambaram speaking? I was also talking to Congress people. They say Tamil Nadu election is there. His role is not defined. He is worried. You see the DMK which wants to sideline him. So everyone in Congress is a politician of flesh and blood. They are angling for, post and positions, which is legitimate. But we tend to look at it in a very moralistic way, as if you see the one side that Nehru Gandhi family are on the wrong side of things and they are right. There is no such thing as that.
Radhika, are we, this Chidambaram revolt really has brought out a lot of questions again on the disgruntlement, really. Chidambaram letter, interview, not a revolt. But I was talking to some of these guys and they said, one of the problems they felt was that they didn't have a face. This is what they need. As Rashid said, it's easy to put up someone, all you need is, the constitution does allow it. But some people felt Sachin Pilot could have been the face, but he, his move was not in tandem with the others. So he moved, there was a problem of timing, really. Is that the problem, that the group that is opposing doesn't have a face?
Yeah, the group that the G23 clearly doesn't have a face. I mean, they all seem a very tired lot. They've been around, we've watched them. They've won elections, they've lost elections. They're not very vibrant organizational hands either. So I really don't see anybody inspirational from this G23. Of course, Chidambaram has raised his voice, but I don't think he has the potential to be a pan-Indian leader. He has to defend his own turf in Tamil Nadu first and foremost, and for which he's entirely on the mercy of the DMK. Leadership is a major problem in the Congress. And I think Congress people spend half their energies trying to second guess the Gandhis. Oh, are they thinking this? Are they thinking that? What will please them? What will displease them? So I think it's incumbent on the Gandhis first and foremost to decide if they want to lead the party or not lead the party, or be a kind of power behind the throne, and who is going to sit on the throne. And it is going to be a very shaky throne in any case. I mean, if the incumbent is going to be in thrall of the Gandhis. So these are very fundamental problems that have cropped up. Now, Priyanka, a lot of hope was reposed in her when she took over, became somewhat proactive in Uttar Pradesh. But look at the bipolar results. I mean, when she became proactive and she was going to Hathras, etc., somebody in Samajwadi Party told me that, look, we are not worried about Priyanka because she's going to sow the seeds and we are going to reap the harvest. The Congress has no organization on the ground. Even if there is some goodwill for the Congress, there is nobody to take advantage. That is where Priyanka should have stepped in focused entirely on UP. Of course, she is doing that and done something to rev up the organization. I thought the UP Congress president, he showed some promise, but obviously he's not given a free hand, and then he has to contend with all the old timers like Pramod Tiwari and whoever. I mean, Pramod Tiwari's name, Salman Khurshid. He's also a UP veteran. So if your hands are tied up, if you are shackled, then nobody is going to be able to revive the party in any state. What is the point in having state leaders if they are not given some latitude, which, to be fair to the BJP, it does. I mean, even in this highly centralized Modi-Shah dispensation, state leaders still have some latitude to play around with political things. So I think first and foremost, it has to be about the leadership, and it's high time the Gandhis speak their minds out and say what they want, instead of, making these periodic appearances during an election or going behind the veil for the rest. So I think that is a major problem.
So Dimple, Avi, again, everybody says that Gandhis are very easy to attack, इसीलिए सब attack करते हैं. But they're also begging to be attacked because Bihar में even Tariq Anwar has spoken. Like Rashid said, we've discussed Bihar elections, but more and more different voices are coming up. It's not the old people, the new people are also coming up and saying, every day there's a new different voice that is joining. So कुछ तो करना चाहिए.
नहीं, अभी प्रॉब्लम कांग्रेस लीडरशिप के साथ प्रॉब्लम तो है ही, पर ये ऐसा नहीं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी के सामने कोई पहली बार इस तरह की कोई क्राइसिस आ रही है. इससे पहले भी जब इमरजेंसी के बाद इलेक्शंस हुए थे, इंदिरा गांधी बाहर हो गई पावर से, उस समय भी काफी बड़ी क्राइसिस कांग्रेस के सामने थी. उससे पहले जब कांग्रेस में डिवीजन हुआ तब क्राइसिस थी. फिर आप उसके बाद अगर राजीव गांधी जब बाहर हुए 89 में, या फिर 96 के बाद कांग्रेस में जिस तरह की स्थितियां बनी थी, इवन सोनिया गांधी के आने के बाद शुरुआत के जब 2004 से पहले का आप देखें तो इसी तरह की वॉइसेस उस समय भी थी कांग्रेस में. लेकिन अभी पहले की कांग्रेस में और अभी के कांग्रेस की लीडरशिप में फर्क ये है कि अभी लीडरशिप जो है वो इंस्पायर नहीं कर रही है वर्कर्स को. उनको देख नहीं रहा है कि आगे, अभी मान लिया जब 2014 के बाद का इलेक्शन, 2019 का इलेक्शन होना था, तो राहुल गांधी के लोग उनके बारे में कहते थे कि उनका टारगेट जो है वो 2019 है, वो 2019 की तैयारी कर रहे हैं. 2014 छोड़ दिया उन्होंने. 2019 में जब हार गए तो अब कहा जा रहा है कि 2025 की तैयारी कर रहे हैं. अब वर्कर को लग रहा है कि ये 2025 भी पॉसिबल नहीं लग रहा, जबकि अभी उसके 3-3.5 साल बाकी हैं. लेकिन वर्कर इंस्पायर नहीं हो रहा है, किसी को आगे कुछ अपना फ्यूचर नहीं दिख रहा है. वो एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम कांग्रेस के सामने है, और वो निश्चित तौर पर लीडरशिप की वजह से है. लीडरशिप में कांग्रेस, जैसे रशीद भी कह रहे थे कि लेकिन अगर ऑप्शन क्या है, अगर गांधी फैमिली के बाहर आप देखें तो कौन है लीडर ये पूरे लॉट में, जो G23 कह लीजिए, या उससे बाहर के जो नेता जो उसमें G23 में शामिल नहीं हुए, लेकिन जो नाराज हैं, जो खुश नहीं हैं हालात से, उनमें कौन है ऐसा जो लीड कर सकता है पार्टी को?
Beyond Rahul and Priyanka, the Congress RC is ripe for the plucking. It's, is there any leader from the outside? Sharad Pawar comes to mind, but now, of course, age is against him. Can that happen? Can the Congress break away? Because within themselves, they are not being able to find a solution.
Well, at one point it was being talked about, that all these factions, of the Congress that have left the Congress and formed regional parties like Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool, like Sharad Pawar's NCP, that maybe they should all come back. And, Sharad Pawar seemed to be a good option, experienced, wily, commanding respect, across the board and everything. But you're right. I mean, age is against him. And, and also his health. So I don't know whether he's really in a position to take over. But, I just want to say one thing, that about these G23, whether it's Chidambaram or it's Kapil Sibal or Anand Sharma or any of them, I don't think any of them are challenging the Gandhis, whatever they may say privately. I don't think any of them are challenging the Gandhis to become leaders of the Congress themselves. I think what they're trying to do is send a message to the Gandhis that, look, there is a serious crisis in the Congress. We are dying. Do something, do something, because, you are the kata dhata of the Congress party, the family. So the family must sit up, take note, take a decision. And as Radhika said, either they must lead from the front or they must anoint somebody who will lead from the front. Whatever it is, some decision has to be taken by the Gandhis on where the party is going. We had heard after that letter crisis and that stormy CWC meet that there would be an election. Do you, Priya, see any preparations for that election for a Congress president? Do you see any wheels being set in motion for an election? I don't see anything happening, and I think this is the message that, whether it's Chidambaram or it's Kapil Sibal, none of them are offering themselves as potential presidents. What they're saying is, do something, for God's sake, do something, otherwise this party will just die and there will be no national alternative. I mean, frankly, why do we discuss the Congress again and again? Only because the Congress is the only national alternative, in the sense that it's the only national force other than the BJP. The others are all regional parties, and therefore, in a Lok Sabha election, cannot pose a challenge to the BJP at a national level, And I think this is the message that they're trying to send. And the point is, if Rahul Gandhi could show any spark, I mean, what did Indira Gandhi do? Of course, Nirmal is right. There have been many crises in the Congress in the past. But Indira Gandhi always played. She played the game. She split the party. She created her own party. She, did what. If Rahul doesn't like all these old timers, then let him say so and, throw them out and form his own party and, anoint himself the leader. I mean, he should show that spark that Indira Gandhi showed, which I don't see him doing. And if he's not going to do it, then somebody else must do it. Then they must. But you see, without the Gandhis, the Congress won't move. So, the Gandhis then need to appoint somebody. They need to say that, okay, either collective leadership, as the G23 had suggested, or they need to say that, okay, I mean, why Mukul Vasnik? I think Mukul Vasnik is also, part of an old crop of leaders. And really, they need to look at a younger age group. That's what they need to do. Why was Tejasvi able to pose the kind of challenge that he posed to Nitish? Because he looked younger, fresher, and his main charge was that Nitish is old and tired.
And he spoke the language to match the image. Also.
That's right. So if you're going to challenge Narendra Modi in 2024, you need to put up a younger, more dynamic leader, and if Rahul is not capable of it, then his mother should stop trying to push him and, and look for somebody else. I mean, or then I think the Congress will just wrap up. It'll just disappear and we'll have the BJP as the sole pole of Indian politics with a whole scattering of regional parties around it.
I'm not sure that is what the nation needs to know or needs to want right now. But I'm going to take a short break and come back and take a look at this current rebellion as opposed to, I was in fact one of the G23 guys yesterday spoke to me and he's saying in the old time, in the Narasimha Rao's time, there was Jiten Prasad, there was Rajesh Pilot, who actually not just revolted, but also held little rallies everywhere, made their presence known and had a sort of show of strength. That is not happening. Maybe it's because Aarti is saying none of them are asking for Rahul to step aside. They're just asking him to just show some spirit and get working, start doing his job. So soon after a break, we'll discuss this. Hello and welcome back to the Newsdesk Sunday Guardian Roundtable. We are here discussing, the future of the Congress party because as the main opposition party and a pan-India party, this is the topic that concerns, I think, everyone. So, Rashid, is it now just up to the Gandhis to figure out the next step also, or should somebody else take the initiative is what we are discussing, and can someone else take the initiative?
Yeah, I would again say that, this is a simplistic way of looking at, problems that are far more complex and beyond, Gandhis. They have become a very easy punching bag, and for everyone from television studios to their opponents and everyone. The problem here is not about, leadership, so much about leadership. And that's all panelists are saying that, nobody wants to replace Gandhis. And this is partly part of the problem. The real problem is about, issues. It's a national party. You look at what happened in J&K about that, the Farooq Abdullah's alliance. And, first Amit Shah accused Congress of being hand in glove, then you pull it out. The Congress, unlike the left or the BJP, is not, strictly speaking, ideologically driven party. And this was their strength. Now, absence of ideology was Congress's biggest strength. Now it has become a huge weakness. A lot of elections and the politics of the country is today guided by, matters of faith. And religion and politics were not supposed to be in the Westminster model of parliamentary democracy. We are not giving any weightage to it. So the Congress is fighting the Hindu right, the Muslim right, and there is no middle ground. All these challenges are there before the Congress party. So I think, see, the dissenters are the ones who are actually, not addressing these issues. Which one of them? I mean, I have the list of those, the star campaigners in Bihar. I mean, Mr. Kapil Sibal was a Rajya Sabha member from Bihar. Did he go there? Did he campaign there? Only person to my knowledge who went there was Sachin Pilot. Was Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad went there? Did he go to Simanchal? Tariq Anwar, who hails from Katiyar, how many meetings he held? What was the outcome? Anyway, I don't want to get into this, personality fight.
But neither did anyone from the other side go, the establishment. Ashok Gehlot, you said Sachin Pilot. Ashok Gehlot also didn't go and campaign. So,
because Priya, they don't matter. You see, it's all right to say because RJD is a regional party. It has deep roots in Bihar politics, not to talk of caste. So that is not an advantage. Congress doesn't have a caste. See, in by-elections, Radhika ji would vouch for it. Invariably, it is the ruling party that wins throughout the country. Why are we blaming? Of course, the enormity and the gravity of the defeat in UP is far more. But what I'm saying is these are complex problems. The G23 is only looking at the job of political secretary, job of Congress General Secretary in charge of organization, job of AIC, etc. They are not concerned about Congress or its future. They are just they want to be part of decision making apparatus. That's the long and short of it.
Congress, Radhika is headquarter party ban gayi. It's become, that is the whole problem. The only post they can run after is general secretary, media secretary. We still don't have whether they're going to come up with the media in charge. But that's basically all that they can fight over.
Yeah, when they just recall when the BJP was out of power for 10 years. The same thing. I mean, pretty much the same scenario was repeated, except that the BJP brought in more seats in the 2004 and subsequently the 2009 elections. People had, it was the organization which was the centerpiece, and people hankered after the posts of general secretary, vice president, secretaries, prabharis, or whatever. So, that I think, you think the left doesn't have the problem? I mean, of course, the left has the same problem. I mean, completely wiped out. Now they've sort of raised their heads in Bihar. But again, it's all about getting an odd Rajya Sabha berth somewhere or becoming the general secretary or not becoming the general secretary. Anyway, Rashid raised a point that it's not so much about leadership as about ideology. I would say that the two have to coexist, go hand in hand. BJP always had a core ideology, a very strong core ideology, and yet it was voted out of power twice in the center. Why? Because they didn't have somebody, a forceful personality to articulate their ideology, take the message, disseminate the message first to the cadre, then the sympathizers, and then the voters who had not become converts until Narendra Modi came along. So, you need a personality. I mean, it's unfortunately that's the way Indian politics is. I mean, there was Mrs. Gandhi who was kind of dominating the scene for decades. So you need a personality who can articulate the issues of the day, the ideology, if there is one. Congress has an ideology. How do we say Congress doesn't have an ideology? It's an inclusive ideology that tries to take most social sections along, which the BJP doesn't. So, but there has to be somebody, who to feel the charge that we are not only there for the minorities or we are kind of appeasing the majority community. There is just nobody. And I think Rashid gave a very good example of the Gupkar alliance. Congress was completely at sea. It didn't know what to do, what to say. On that, they hemmed and hawed and then put out some kind of a weak statement. So you need leadership and everything else follows from that. I think that is the thing. And yeah, it is true that there is nobody among this G23 to challenge the Gandhis. How will they? They are people who've lost elections. They are sort of well over the hill, most of them. You have someone younger like Jitin Prasad. He's also been losing elections. And he's not really seen in UP. I mean, he's now trying to project himself as a leader of the Brahmins, ostensibly to capitalize on the anti-Brahmin sentiment against Yogi, which is a myth. It doesn't even exist on the ground. So, you cannot become a sectional leader in a party like the Congress and hope to emerge as something bigger.
Okay, quickly, we're out of time. But Nirmal, okay, Jitin's example, I know I disagree with Radhika. At least he's trying to reinvent himself. He's trying to do something. He's fighting the elections. He's at least showing some signs of life, which I don't see any of the others doing, even in UP.
नहीं, मैं उससे भी I don't agree with Rashid on this कि all these 23 leaders, they are hankering for posts and they don't have party's future in mind. ऐसा नहीं है. देखिए, सभी सारे लोग अभी परेशान हैं पार्टी के फ्यूचर को लेके कि आगे क्या. अभी 5 साल अपोजिशन में बैठ गए, उसके बाद फिर अगले 5 साल ये अपोजिशन में रहेंगे. पार्टी देखिए, बीजेपी के पास भी जब पावर आती, पावर से ही ज्यादातर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज वो पावर ड्रिवन पार्टीज हैं. जब तक पावर नहीं होगी तब तक वो इस तरह से अपना एक्सपेंशन नहीं कर पाती है. बीजेपी का भी पिछले जो 6-7 साल में बीजेपी की स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ी है, वो इसी वजह से ना, क्योंकि एक अच्छे मैंडेट के साथ पार्टी सेंटर में पावर में है. पर बीजेपी और कांग्रेस में जो बेसिक फर्क है वो यही कि बीजेपी कैडर बेस्ड पार्टी है, कांग्रेस कैडर बेस्ड पार्टी नहीं है. तो उसका नुकसान, जब कांग्रेस अपोजिशन में आती है तो कांग्रेस को उसका नुकसान ज्यादा होता है. बीजेपी का आप जनसंघ के समय से देखिए, जनसंघ 67 में सबसे ज्यादा सीट जनसंघ को मिली, 34 सीट्स. अब 34 सीट से उनको 304 तक आने में कितने साल लगे हैं.
But then they picked up a plan, they picked up an ideology. I think the problem is
वो एक कैडर बेस्ड, उनका जो एक सर्टेन आइडियोलॉजी को लेके उनका कैडर है, एक उन्होंने अपना कैडर बनाया है जो उनके लिए हर 24 घंटे काम करता है, 24 घंटे 365 दिन काम करता है. कांग्रेस में वो नहीं है. कांग्रेस में जैसे अपोजिशन में आने के बाद फिर उनको 2-3 साल लगते हैं कि भाई हम अपोजिशन में आ गए हैं तो अब थोड़ा सा कुछ करना पड़ेगा.
Okay. We're totally out of time, but the problem, Nirmal, is, sorry to interrupt you, the Congress doesn't, 2-3 साल तो नहीं, they've spent, almost 6-7 years in opposition. They're going to be spending 10 years if they don't get their act together, maybe more. And that is the main worry, really, because these state elections show some sign and some kind of roadmap forward, which we are seeing the Congress is really stuck at status quo for over 7 years now. Can it get ahead? Can it find something? There are elections that are coming next round where Congress does have some stakes. Will it be able to deliver or not? That's the main question. But thank you all for watching this show, and also all of you. Thank you for joining me on this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.